Let's talk about transportation. We all know how much technology has shifted the way we move around. I mean, standing by the road waiting for a taxi, that feels like ancient history now. For our project, we decided to build a system for a fictional e-hailing company called JuhRide. Now, JuhRide isn't just another generic app. We position it specifically as a local service provider right here in Kuching, Sarawak. The core idea is simple. JuhRide acts as a digital middleman. We connect passengers, mainly university students, office workers, and tourists with private drivers. The goal? To offer a safe, reliable alternative to public buses or expensive taxi. Basically, if you're a student rushing to class or tourist trying to find the waterfront without getting lost, JuhRide is the solution. But running an operation like this, it's heavy on data. We aren't just managing cars, we're managing diverse fleet that range from economical models like Rodo Axia all the way to comfortable sedans like Toyota Vios. To keep the wheels turning, the company has to track two massive categories of information every single day. First, the drivers, such as the profiles, vehicle details, and registration status. And second, the trips, like pickup points, destination, fares, and dates. Before this project, imagine trying to track all those rides manually. It would be chaotic. So our objective was to migrate these manual records into a structured Microsoft Access database to actually make sense of the data and help the company grow. So that's who JuhRide is. Now let's look at the problem they were facing before we stepped in.
Now, let's look at the identification of problems faced by JuhRide. The first issue is lack of structured reporting. Without standardized report, management find it difficult to get a clear overview of operation like driver activity, trip frequency, and financial performance. This slows down decision making and may lead to incomplete analysis. The second problem is data redundancy and inconsistency. Driver and trip information is recorded multiple times, which can create duplicate record and conflicting updates. This not only wastes storage space but also make the information unreliable. Thirdly, there is a inefficient data processing. Staff have to manually filter, sort, and check record to find specific information. This takes a lot of time, increase their workload, and raise the risk of error such as incorrect fare entries. Finally, difficult in monitoring performance is a challenge. Since there are no automated calculation, evaluating driver productivity and earning is time-consuming and less occurrence. In conclusion, this problem clearly shows the need for a structured database system to improve financial accuracy and support better decision-making at JuhRide.
Alright, based on the tables, we can see two tables required in the database, which is driver tables and trip tables. In the driver tables, include driver ID, first name, last name, phone number, license plate, date hired, and active status. This database stores all information about each driver by recording it systematically without manipulating the driver personal information. This can avoid duplicating information and it will easily access. Next, for the trip table, it's containing all information about trips, include trip ID, driver ID, trip date, pickup location, drop-off location, fare amount, and rating of the trips. Both tables are linked with each other, which is off driver will be linked with the trip through the driver ID. This can help establish the one-to-many relationship between these two tables. It also can help company easily track each driver trips.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Atika Dimasu. My student ID is 2024261344. I will be discussing about queries in design view for our JuhRide e-hailing services. First, active 2023 drivers compound with wildcard. In this query, we are using the drivers table. The fields selected are date hired and active status. For the criteria, the date hired field uses like 2023, which applies a wildcard to retrieve all drivers hired in the year 2023, regardless of the exact hiring date. The active status field is set to true to ensure that only drivers who are currently active are included. This query applies a compound and condition, meaning both criteria must be met at the same time. The purpose of this query is to identify drivers who were hired in 2023 and are still actively working. This information is useful for workforce analysis and monitoring recruitment effectiveness. Next, effort rights compound OR. This query uses the trips table and selects the pickup location and drop-off location field. For the criteria, the pickup location is set to Kuching International Airport. Using the OR condition, the drop-off location is also set to Kuching International Airport. This means that a trip will be displayed if it either starts from or ends at Kuching International Airport. The purpose of this query is to extract all airports-related trips, including both pickups and drop-offs. This query helps management analyze airport service demand, average trip frequency, and plan driver deployment for airport routes. The next one named Driver Net Earnings Calculated Field. This query uses the trips table and includes the field trips ID and fare amount. A calculated field named Driver Earning is created in the query design. The Driver Earnings field is derived from the fare amount field and is calculated automatically by Microsoft Access when the query is executed. This calculated field allows the system to display trips information together with the driver's earnings without requiring manual calculation. The purpose of this query is to improve accuracy, reduce manual work, and support financial analysis related to trip revenue and driver compensation.
Alright, let's continue. This query takes data from the trips table and filter it based on two conditions. First, it selects only trips that started at the Viva City Mega Mall and the Spring Shopping Mall by applying a criterion to the pickup location field. Second, it filtered trips with a customer rating higher than 4, so only highly rated trips are included. Both conditions are placed on the same criteria row in the query design view. This means Microsoft Access uses and logic. So, a trip must meet both conditions to appear in the result. The purpose of this query is to identify high-quality trips from a specific location. This helps analyze customer satisfaction and evaluate service performance at the Viva City Mega Mall and Spring Shopping Mall. And for the last query, this query also retrieves data from the trips table and filtered the record using two conditions. First, it selects only trip with a 5-star rating by applying a criterion to the rating field. At the same time, it filters trip where the fare amount is greater than 20. Both conditions are placed on the same criteria row in the query design view. So, Microsoft Access uses and also logic. This means only trips that meet both conditions are shown. The purpose of this query is to identify high quality and high value trips. It helps analyze customer satisfaction and identify trips that generate higher revenue.
Other way to overcome the identify problem, JuhRide can implement the report view feature in Microsoft Access. This solution enables operational data to be converted into structured and meaningful reports. For instance, an active driver's report allows management to monitor driver participation, availability, and overload distribution efficiently. A driver net earnings report with automated calculation provide an accurate overview of drivers' financial performance after deduction. Additionally, integrate report combining driver and trip data to help identify travel trade, peak period, and service demand. By using standardized report, manual processing is reduced, data accuracy is improved, and timely decision-making is supported. Overall, this reporting system enhances operational efficiency and enable JuhRide to achieve sustainable growth in the digital era.
For the relationship diagram, one-to-many relationship between driver tables and trip tables. It ensures that no duplicate data and data is consistent. The primary key of this table is driver ID in driver tables and foreign key in trip tables. In this way, the system can track each driver according to the sustainability of the trip that customer booked for data integrity. For example, driver can receive multiple trip booking according to the sustainability of the book location, but the trip is only associated with one driver who accepts it.
Next, I will present about the JuhRide form that include driver entry form also with the multi-form. Firstly, the driver form. This is our primary interface for managing human resources for JuhRide. As you can see, the form is divided into two logical sections that handle the relationship between the driver and their performance. At the top right, we've been integrated specialized a common button for searching and printing. These are styled in blue to match our JuhRide identity for allowing quick record retrieval. For the driver identification, we track the driver ID, their full name, for example, Ahmad Razak, and the contact detail like phone number and license plate, example like QAA for 582B, We also have a data hire field and active status checkbox. This is crucial for our administration to know at a glance if a driver is currently authorized to accept passengers. Next, for the trip subforms, the bottom of the section is a subform that is display the one-to-many relationship. This means for every one driver is selected above, the database automatically pulls and display all the trips that have been completed below. You can see details like trip dates, routes such as Vivacity Mega Mall to Kuching International Airports, the fare amount and the ratings. This allows us to monitor the driver performance and earning a single view. Moving on to the trip form. This interface designed for detailed data entry regarding the actual service provided by JuhRide. First, individual trip tracking. While the driver form is about the person, this form is about the journey. Each record represents a single transaction that includes trip ID and importantly the driver ID, which link the trip back to the specific driver in our system. And for the logistic and revenue, we record the exact trip, date and time, the pickup location and the drop-off location. This helps JuhRide to analyze popular routes. And for the financial and quality control, we have a fare amount field formatted as a currency, for example $18.50, and a rating field. By logging in the rating for every trip, we can maintain a high service standard. If a rating is too low, like 2.0 rating seen in our data, administration can identify the specific trip and address the issue immediately. Finally, the multi-form. To enhance the user experience for our staff, we developed the JuhRide multi-form. Tab navigation. Instead of opening multiple windows, we use the tab control feature. You can see in the label drivers and trips at the top of the workspace. Operational efficiency. This design allows an administration to switch between the detailed drivers and the general trip logs with a single click. It keeps the workspace clean and organized, which is essential when managing a high volume of data. And you will notice the layout, color scheme, and the navigation button remain consistent all of you. This reduces a learning curve for a new staff member using the JuhRide system.
In conclusion, the implementation of a Microsoft Access database provides an effective solution to the challenge faced by JuhRide's manual data management system. By using structured table and one-to-many relationship between the drivers and trip table, the system reduces data redundancy and ensures data consistency. Queries automate data retrieval and calculation, improving accuracy and operational efficiency. In addition, form simplify daily data entry and minimize human errors, while report offer clear insight into operational performance, financial summaries, and data productivity. Overall, this database system enhance efficiency, support driven decision making, and enable JuhRide to remain competitive in Kuching's e-hailing market.